You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Without further ado, the Dear Friends podcast. Dear friends, spill your woes to your musical family. Dear friends, they will take your questions and turn them into nuggets of wisdom and anecdotes in an otherwise cynical world. Dear friends.
Hi, I'm dear friend Emily.
I'm dear friend Christy.
And I'm dearest friend Jess, and welcome to Dear Friend, a write-in advice podcast for the musical-minded. How are you fine human beings doing today? I noticed when Emily started this, she pointed at her dimples while saying it.
I'm just feeling dimply today.
It felt very June
I don't have dimples, I just got apple cheeks.
I'm very, I have a
June.
moo cow, a true cow.
Moo
And
moo.
Caroline. Moo.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's almost related to what we're talking about today,
Ooh.
because we totally have a for real, not made up write-in from our husband overseas, Don Draper, and they're asking, hey, dear friends, what are your favorite Broadway posters? And you know what? That's a good question. And
That's a very good question.
because Broadway is different than
Broadway
movies.
posters went through. It's so funny because if you think of Broadway posters pre-1980s, it was like all the information we can throw at you. Information. Director's name right at the top, writer's names right at the top. And then the 80s came and the British mega musicals were like, nah, we're going to do the opposite. Black cat eyeballs. That's all you get. Black mask. That's all you get.
Girl holding broom.
Close up girl with broom. That's all you get. And then it was like this different kind of iconic because it became this way to market the shows.
I was going to say that's when the merch really started taking off because they were looking for that, easy iconography. Obviously, that was, my musical childhood was the mega musical era. So when I was thinking of those memorable posters, that's usually what comes to mind. Even the lesser known ones like the original Carrie. I mean, there were so many problems with that original production, but the poster art, it was simple and cool and evocative, and I loved it.
Yeah, a lot in the 80s was like that now that I think about it. Even thinking of, like, the Edwin Drood poster. It's just that little profile of, like, Betty Buckley like that, illustrated, and that's, like, kind of it.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of miss that iconography because I was thinking about recently, so many posters today, it's just like, title of the show in a funky font.
I mean, Hamilton
sometimes.
did a really good job.
Hamilton's got some good stuff. Hadestown, Wicked. But you think of stuff like Waitress or Come From Away or
there's nothing that really.
Yeah, it's like okay, that's the title of the show. Yep.
I agree with that.
And Moulin Rouge and stuff like that. Like, they're promoting a brand more than a musical. And then you've got, like, garbage dog shit shows that have an amazing poster, like Bright Star. I think Bright Star is probably one of my favorite Broadway posters for such a
bad musical. I feel like I'm gaslit when people say how much they love that show. I remember seeing it, and my friend, like, loved it, and I was like, we saw the same show, right?
Because the baby threw off the train. I saw that with my own eyes.
I didn't understand what the show was until like halfway through the first act. When all these characters were coming out at the opening number, like standing there and hitting a pose, I was like, who are you people? I don't know who you people are. And I didn't realize what the plot of the show actually was until that baby got thrown off. And I was like, well, that's a problem. Like, I didn't even know who the protagonist was. I was like, is it this woman I'm hearing belts? But then we're going back to this boy coming back, this guy. Sorry.
The protagonist is Steve Martin's banjo.
I love Bright Star. Has such a fantastic, beautiful, folky score, but that book is, you guys, it's not a good book. I'm sorry I had to say it. Okay, anyway, beautiful poster though. You're right, it's that thing with the girl, like, looking out like that, right?
One of the few really good posters for a
really
terrible
good,
show.
Poster.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Let's see.
I love a lot of the 70s posters.
I was gonna say, a lot of the sound. Yeah, Chorus Line. That one is so iconic that they're still doing it.
You still do it. You have to do the same poses.
We did that for my senior project in college, and we all went through. It's like, okay, you do this, you just sit like this. You guys are holding hands. You've got your hands like this. Yep. And it was a whole thing about how your head is turned and tilted. But yeah, it's a very, it's a very effective poster, and obviously because they're still using it today.
I love the chorus line one. Obviously, Follies is one.
Follies
of the
is
best.
really
Yes,
awesome.
that is incredible.
I mean, it's never been a big show with me, but that poster with the cracks and
So
it's like beautiful and sad and haunting. It's amazing. A lot of the Sondheim original production posters are I cool.
I love the Sunday one with
the original
80s,
Sunday,
the
that was
80s
the one
legs.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's a great summary of the entire show.
Yeah.
Sweeney
I
Todd
love a little
is...
night music because you think it's just a tree, and then you look closer,
and it's
it's naked, sexy bodies. In
people
the
are
tree.
naked there. I mean, that's another good one. Sweeney Todd. I mean, it's kind of fun, but at the same time, it reminds me of those caricatures that you always get in touristy places. And I'm just thinking.
I love it because it looks like a Penny Dreadful.
It does look a lot like it, but part of me is like, okay, and what do you do, Sweeney? Oh, you're a mass murderer. Well, that's interesting.
We're going to put you on rollerblades.
Yeah.
He looks very happy there. He looks very, very happy in that poster.
But yeah, there's great stuff there.
But then, there's some weird ones. We recently covered High Society on Musicals with Cheese.
Yeah, that
Have
one.
You guys?
I remember seeing that when I went to New York in college with the cats, and I'm like, well, that's interesting.
But that was
I guess
that
it's
guy's
like
whole thing.
rich fat cat, things.
It's the Philadelphia story. Mm-hmm. It's just that.
Yeah, but then that same poster artist did the same thing with animals for his How to Succeed poster, which is just weird crocodiles and stuff. So in the 90s, they didn't quite know what they were doing with Broadway posters.
Mm-hmm. The Secret Garden one is kind of interesting.
Ooh,
that one is
kinda,
incredible.
It's like a collage almost inside that little it's like a fan or something. I'm just seeing it in my head right now.
And not to bring up another dog shit musical that has an amazing poster, but I love the King Kong poster.
That actually is a pretty good poster, but yeah.
I mean, if you're talking iconic posters from let's say the early 2000s, Hairspray did a really good job.
Yeah,
with
that was a good
the
one.
Side, the half of the face.
Or the
Mamma
top
Mia's
of it.
been using that stock photo forever, and it just worked. I don't know if I like it, but it's worked. I mean, it's like tying that logo to the show.
Yeah, it's like every production of, Gypsy or Evita, no matter where you go, it's the leading lady doing this.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Hands
what was
in the
great
air.
is when Avenue Q was first coming out, they had some amazing promotional posters.
They did, because,
with those
they were
close-ups of their faces with a quote on the top.
And they were very clear about, this is not a kid's show, okay? This is not Lion King. You are not taking your kids to this. We've got puppets boffing.
Yeah, those were really fun. I loved those. I'm trying to think of older ones that I really like.
But then you've got ones that are really bad for shows that I like a lot. I keep thinking about how much I don't like the Book of Mormon.
With the jumping
posters.
Thing. It's
I've never liked that. It's kind of just Mean Girls is another one where I'm like, real. That's all you guys could think to do with that one.
I do kind of like the Book of Mormon with the doorbell though, because that's what you associate with them is the people coming up to your doors to save your soul. I lost my train of thought.
I really like in old musicals when they would just go, you know what, this Hirschfeld is good enough. Let's just put the Hirschfeld on the poster.
The Hirschfeld aesthetic. I love that.
Like Man of La Mancha, they pretty much
My
use
Fair
that.
Lady. Yeah, I mean.
I'm looking at my record collection on the other side of the room, and it's My Fair Lady and Man of La Mancha both did that, and it works so well.
Yeah. And even, Music Man, it's obviously not Hirschfeld, but the original poster, I guess, in the movie poster, has that kind of style.
It has that little
kind
group of people, all marching in a parade. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as I
Carol
hate this,
Channing in Hello Dolly, he did one of hers
I think that was
revivals.
I think that was the revival one.
Yeah, I know he's done. I know they've used his art for one of her runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I don't
the hair poster, hair.
Which one?
That's a
the
very
original
good one.
The original. I
Yeah.
love the hair poster. That's another one that's like Follies, just that face, and it gives you the exact vibe of what the show is going to be about. Yeah, iconic. I love
you
that.
know the one I've never been able to figure out is like the Jesus Christ Superstar. It's like, it's kind of got like the angel thing, and it's like, okay, what is this? Is this like, like the Ark of the Covenant thing with the angels facing each other? Or I'm not sure what you're going for here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's iconic though. That's the thing. Like
it is, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's iconic because of everyone had that album in the 70s.
Yeah, well, there is that.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know if that became the iconography. There's not many Saul Bass inspired posters. Like everyone uses the West Side Story one, but that was mostly used for the movie. And the only other Saul Bassy kind of vibe I get is like from the Catch Me If You Can musical poster, where it's like
a bit, yeah.
And that's surprising. A lot of people do like their minimalist poster designs later, like on Twitter and whatever.
And you always and that tends to come back around when you're doing revivals, especially because you got Sweeney Todd, you got a razor and some blood.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there's
Sweeney
ones
Todd
that'll
would be
never
a very
change.
good one. Sweeney Todd would be a very good one to do in Saul Bass style.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
throwing that out there.
But you can't ever do a Vito without using that original like stencil art of Ava Perón and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't ever do a Les Mis production without using the little girl.
Well, that's original illustration that was done for the Hugo novel, so that's very much tied into that story.
I gotta say the Rent poster was extremely effective. Not only from the posters, that because it was made up of those little boxes and this collage style, is that you could alter it for whatever the dimensions were for the CD or for a bus, or for a marquee. You can move the faces around in their little boxes and make it
Or for
whatever you
cast.
want.
If you get a new cast, you can recreate that really easily.
Yeah.
Like the three of us, we could make our own Rent cast album,
Totally.
just by taking photos of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just put some filters on it and chop it up a little bit. You got it. That at the time was like unlike anything you were seeing on Broadway. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Now, what do we think is some of the worst ones we've seen lately? Because, I keep thinking about the Tootsie art and how much that just made me want to stab my eyes out.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really thought about the thing. Jess, I feel like I'm more on your side, where if it gives me no idea what the show is about, it just wafts over me. And I feel like there's been quite a few Broadway posts. If they didn't swap, like Waitress, like if they didn't swap it out with whatever actress, they have to do that photo shoot every freaking time of her
holding
the
the
pie, so that they can replace the lead on the poster. And to me,
Same
like
with,
Hamilton made the
and
most
whatever.
sense because like Hamilton is a great one because it's a silhouette. You don't have to change that person. And then it's like the old 80s thing. It's like you equate the logo with the show, not necessarily the star.
I know we've been getting on its case, not without reason, but I hate the art for the new Music Man revival. It's not imaginative. I hate the color scheme. It does nothing for me.
It's just bold fonts, isn't it? Like there's no artwork.
It's just bold font, and it's this awful orange color, and it's like, what are you doing? I mean, ugh. I guess it's like they kind of it's orange and blue, so it's like, I'm a Colorado native, so I'm like, why are you doing Bronco colors?
Yeah, I don't.
But then I think
nothing about
like,
it stands out to me.
There's a lot of revival downgrades in posters. Like, I think of how gorgeous the color purple, the original Broadway cast poster was, where it's the two girls playing patty cake. And then the revival, which
all their
is
faces, right?
It's just their faces with a little purple tint. It's ugly. I mean, good for you guys for getting Jennifer Hudson, but oh my God.
I prefer the off-Broadway art for A Strange Loop over the new stuff that they've revealed.
I mean, the new stuff looks a
Because
little
I think,
too Broadway.
That optical illusion going into infinity. I mean, that's basically what A Strange Loop is and what the show is about. And I kind of
this one. I like this way better. Now it's like his face with
his face. It's his face in
like
profile,
smiling.
and they got the thoughts around the side, and it's. It's interesting, but on another level,
this
looks
actually represents the loop.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it kind of looks like an all-black version of Company.
Yes, that does. Yeah. The problem is Andrew Lloyd Webber's shows, as bad as they are, I think almost every one of his posters are pretty good.
This is a good one.
Oh, yeah, that is
1776. The little eagle popping out of the British egg. That's a good one. So I'm just looking at my shelf right now.
Yeah.
No worries. I'm looking all over. I hated what is it? The more recent Godspell. Like Godspell is another one of those ones where you don't really change the logo. You just kind of put it on different things.
The new one was the same logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just put it against a wall. Like it's just like they're gonna spray paint it somewhere. It's just taking that logo and putting it somewhere else. And I'm like, we can do better than that a little bit more.
Yeah.
What did the hair revival do?
Just the word hair on a blue background.
Yeah, theirs was a big old nothing burger too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of had that kind of tie-dye 60s color scheme going on, but there wasn't a whole lot. Yeah.
You know who always kills it with their Broadway logos and posters, even though they probably don't have to? It's Disney. I think Disney always comes up with these great minimalist posters.
The Lion King poster, I think that's very good because, it's not only, it's a good iconic thing, obviously, for the merch, but also it lets you know, it gives you an idea of what the aesthetic of the show is going to be. It lets you know this isn't a theme park show where we're going to have people in, fursuits playing animals. It hints at the puppetry and the style of it.
And it's genius pulling, because it's Disney. They know what's what. They know that they have to make the logo that is not based on a star's face, that is based on something that they own, that they can license out, and that they can put on a whole bunch of merchandise. Oh, yeah. You guys know, I was obsessed with Beauty and the Beast as a kid, and when the musical came out, it was the first Disney Broadway musical.
Oh, yeah.
It was such a big fucking deal for me.
Yeah,
and it's such a big deal. And that artwork, that poster,
artwork is fantastic.
Beautiful.
Oh,
it's
is.
Great.
It's still amazing me. The original artwork for the Frozen on Broadway, I think, is great because it starts off. You have it's a snowflake, obviously, but then you look at it at the negative space, and you've got her doing the Let It Go pose. You've got the sisters facing each other, and it's like, it rewards you for actually studying it. So
yeah.
And then if you even look at bad musicals like the Tarzan poster, I think that's good.
The Tarzan poster is pretty good.
It's a good logo, yeah.
The only poster they've done that I don't love is the Newsies poster because it's just like Jeremy Jordan.
It's not Jeremy Jordan on the poster.
Is it not?
Guy.
Who is that?
Some dancey boy.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jordan didn't dance like that in the show. Like he and those like leads, they get to, you see them like when some of these dance breaks start and they just like walk up stage and they're like, hey, do the thing, but yeah, it is it's that boy going like that, and jumping in the air.
Newsies in general, that's not my thing.
Oh.
I like the movie better than the stage show. I think I'm like in the minority there.
Yeah, I think the movie is okay. People keep asking, "Are you going to review this?" And I'm like, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not, God, I've seen worse.
Yeah, and if you grew up with it, like I did, and I'd seen it a million times, when I saw the stage musical on Broadway, I was like, oh, this solves so many problems. I was like, thank you, Harvey Fierstein. This fixes so many problems with the book. And isn't just relying on the cute Dreamboat boys singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Which was the major appeal of the original film.
Right.
What are the other Disney? What is the Aladdin poster? I can't even picture it. Is it just
kind of like
the genie
coming out of the lamp? It's a little kind of line arty, a bit like the Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now. It always looks like a question mark to me.
One of the most underrated posters that I wish they'd used was the original Hunchback of Notre Dame German poster, which let me see if I can find it because I think that was like it fit right into it. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Chrome tab. Enjoy this, fans. Enjoy this. Like that's really pretty.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh yeah, I like the little artwork of him at the
better
bottom.
than this.
Yeah, that's boring. That's a big old nothing.
Yeah,
that's
and
more interesting.
the stuff they did for the studio cast recording, it's it's got this title on a red background. It's
I don't like the. Have you guys ever looked into the original German one? Have you ever watched it?
No,
I haven't. No, they still had the gargoyles at that stage, didn't they?
They still had the gargoyles. It is very close to the original film's structure while still including the darker elements like Esmeralda dying and Quasi dying. So it is a much more like palatable piece that still has that dark ending, and it was James Lapine who did the book, and they just threw that all away when they came to America, and James Lapine's book's better because he's James Lapine,
he does good work.
Yeah, he's a good book writer. I don't know why he threw it away.
I was just thinking, I do prefer musicals now where you don't have to rely so much on the star's face.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm a big fan of anything where Gwen Verdon was like,
Oh yeah, Gwen Verdon striking a pose. Yeah,
it's
kind of Charity.
Yeah, Sweet Charity or Damn Yankees.
Damn Yankees.
I love that. I love that shit. That's great. Oh, you know what was great? It's not a great show, but that Bernadette Peters Annie Oakley revival.
Annie, get
with
your
her.
gun.
Yes.
Yeah. Annie, get your gun with her.
And
with
they did
guns.
they did have to switch her out
did.
with Reba McEntire or anybody else who did it. But yeah,
it was
pretty cute
like retro poster. I thought those were cute.
Yeah, and I think that's it. We've covered every Broadway poster in existence.
Every Broadway poster that ever.
We got him pretty close, but yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the problem too. Like, we've got the big, like, well-known ones, and then you've got like the lesser-known ones, like the ones that kind of like gloss over you, and then you don't realize how some things. Like, I didn't even notice the Frozen one until right now, and I've looked at that poster so many times. But we do have a Dear Friends proper question. Would you guys be interested to hear that?
Oh, do tell.
I would. Give it to me, baby.
Okay, so this Dear Friends question is from a Mandalorian from a galaxy far, far away, and their pronouns are she, her.
Bum, bum, ba, 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 ba.
She's missing her Grogu.
Yeah, well, that kind of is related. So the question is,
Sorry.
I want advice on how to process grief and change. I lost the love of my life very recently, but I haven't really had the time to grieve due to the nature of my work. My love was part of my team, and since he's gone, we've had to retire a new member. This new guy is really obnoxious, and I can't stand him. Right now, I'm trying to remind myself why I'm fighting against the Empire and wondering if I'll ever love again. Literally written into the Dear Friends blog.
Okay. Do we really
Answer it. I mean,
Answer
it came
it?
in. Yeah.
Grief is hard.
Yeah.
Grief is really hard. There's no right or wrong way to get through grief, I don't think. I think that there's a million different avenues that you can take. Christy?
Oh, geez. I would say get counseling, because there are people who do specialize in helping people, confront and process their grief, because it's not easy to go through. Everybody goes through it at their own pace, but if you don't go through it, you're carrying it with you, and it affects you in so many ways. It affects your health, it affects your mental well-being, and
yeah, I've had a string of, like, kind of in the past few years, some friends of mine dying young. One of them I was there for, my best friend's husband, and she's 3 years on. She's never gonna not be grieving him.
No.
It just kind of gets a little easier as you go along, and time. Counseling is great. Surrounding yourself with people you love, people you trust, people who are okay seeing you maybe at your worst.
Maybe seeing your true face, too.
Maybe seeing your true face. Taking off that mask. Looking in the mirror and seeing what's right
and
for
it's
you.
also good. It's also a good time, to evaluate your your philosophical or spiritual beliefs, whether you're into Christianity, Buddhism, the Force, whatever.
Are you in a fundamentalist sect? Maybe you could back off.
Did
from
you
that
give
a little
away
bit.
your child to a
might not
cult
help.
of monks?
Yeah, but grief is really hard no matter where you are in your life. So whether you're dealing with something that's, far, far away or right here at home, you're not alone if you're grieving. It's you have resources.
Now let's give some songs. I'm going to go first because I've been sitting on this fun fact since Christmas, and I feel like it didn't get as much traction as I wanted. So the song I am going to recommend is The Odds Against Christmas, which is from Christmas in the Stars, a Broadway Christmas album which is also Star Wars. It was written by Maury Yeston.
Of all people, wow.
and is the first vocal performance of John Bon Jovi, and it's about C-3PO counting the odds against Christmas being Christmas, which is 65 to 1.
My husband has talked about this flipping song before. I just realized as you were going through it, I was like, oh, God.
What does Jeff have to say about this
Bon
song?
Jovi Christmas song. It's more of a fun fact. Did you know the first thing he ever did was...
A Star Wars Christmas song written by Maury Yeston?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I might have to do on the podcast one year because, there's just so much going on there. So, Christy, what's your song?
I'm going to go a little more serious and do one of my favorite songs about grieving, which is How Could I Ever Forget from Next to Normal.
Oh, that's sad.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I wish there was a version of it that didn't have Alice.
That didn't have, like, terrible people singing it. I know. I apologize, but...
Yeah. Okay, well, here. I'll do a jumping off with a similar title. How Could I Ever Know? From
Secret
the
Garden.
Secret Garden.
Yes. Another good
two lovely people singing that, actually.
Yes, two lovely
people. And one of them is gone, and so it's actually even sadder.
But another great song about processing grief of a loved one, so.
Yeah.
You know what? 10 out of 10 choices. Thank you for your writing question. Thank you for taking it as seriously as we do over here at Dear Friends. I'm glad you didn't bum us out at the end, to be honest. So thank you, Mandalorian from a galaxy far, far away. I appreciate your time. Speaking of appreciating your time, why don't we tell you where you can find us on the internets and wrap this baby on up? Christy, you're on first.
Okay, I am at Musical Hell on YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. I've got a Patreon. I've got a Redbubble. Watch my stuff. Give me money if you can give me money and you think my stuff is cool.
I give her money. It's great. Emily, what about you?
You can make me make me review something.
Ooh.
That's really weird and stupid.
See, you can make her review Newsies.
I might have to veto that one.
Yeah, right. Put the caveat there. So I'm on Stealing Focus. I'm at Stealing Focus, rather, on YouTube and on Patreon. And you can find me at Emily A.B. Clark.
Does it look like Emily ABC Lark?
It looks like Emily ABC Lark. And you can find me there on Twitter, Insta, TikTok, all that jazz. Ha-cha-cha.
All right, you can find me everywhere but Grindr at Jesse McAnally, and I have
That's
a podcast.
Lie. He's
you can find him
on
at Grindr if you know where to look.
If you know where to look, if you know all my nicknames.
What
they
was your,
do.
Wait, you were doing the voice, your D&D character.
Gregory.
Yeah, he's Gregory.
I'm Gregory.
Yeah.
Gregory 6969. You can find me on Musicals with Cheese. Meatloaf's favorite podcast when he died.
Meatloaf. Rest in peace, you lunatic.
Yeah, do anything for love, but he won't get vaxxed.
Ew.
Yes, that was a very strange experience. All right, anything else we got left to say?
Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Make better Broadway posters.
Yeah.
Make fun
February.
Make fun posters that we can put on cool T-shirts.
Ooh, yeah. Give me some logos, baby. I want to buy
Yeah.
merch.
I want to support brand. Give me brand so I support.
Give me brand to put on wall.
Yes. On that note, we'll see you next time on the Dear Friends podcast.
Goodbye.
Dear friends, spill your woes to your musical family. Dear friends, they will take your questions and turn them into nuggets of wisdom and anecdotes in an otherwise cynical world. Dear friends,